and we can get right into it. So
Awesome.
So yeah, Nick Rundlett, thank you so much for coming on today. I appreciate it. Would you like to give us a little bit of a background on who you are, what you do?
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's changing in a very exciting direction. So formerly I was in sales and I was doing essentially data storage and third-party support sales for a company called Reliant Technology, headquartered down in Atlanta. But last Friday was my last day, and I am now starting my own independent consulting practice within the industry. So I'm going to be traveling to New York, doing some cool stuff, big moves ahead. So I'm excited. But I guess about me and who I am, I love helping people solve problems, and particularly good people. That's my sweet spot. So I have a passion for sales, I think, as a result of that, because I think in the healthiest sense, that's what sales ought to be all about.
There you go. Do you find that targeting good people tends to narrow down your audience, or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I've recently learned and experienced the joy of firing customers that are pains in the butt. So that is that's a really useful lesson and perspective to have. So I think my glasses are foggy. Let me clean that up.
Oh no. All right, good stuff. So yeah, whenever you're ready, what's one thing you do every day that makes you more valuable?
This might be a strange answer. It's probably not one that a lot of people would give you. I prioritize and schedule checking in with myself every night before I go to sleep and getting in touch with my emotions, because that is, how would I describe it or frame it? When I don't do that for an extended period of time, I am not naturally apt to be in touch with my emotions. And I think there's a number of reasons. I think part of that is just personality. I'm kind of always focused on moving forward, doing, rather than just kind of sitting back and being, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So it's difficult for me to stay mindful. So by proactively scheduling that, instead of my life having this kind of pattern of really high highs and really low lows, by checking in with myself, I can prevent that. I can still have the highs, but not crash nearly as hard, because I'm actually in touch with myself. And doing that helps me show up better in literally every relationship that I have. And so I think that's honestly the best thing that I do for myself.
Yeah. So what do these check-ins look like?
It's literally just laying down, opening up a journal, and asking myself, what is my gut trying to tell me? And I get different answers literally every night. Because it's just accessing what's below the surface. It's a very open-ended question. And I am amazed. Sometimes it tells me, I'm super excited about X, Y, and Z. And it's okay, good. Sometimes it tells me, I'm terrified that X is going to happen and that we're going to lose this amazing person. And it's oh, well, maybe I should pay attention to that instead of repressing it and then letting that bubble up into some bigger explosion 4 days or 4 weeks from now, So it's a preventative measure, so I can stay on top of both the negative and the positive emotions that are kind of below the surface for me.
There you go. So how long have you been keeping track with yourself then?
On and off for 4 years, but I recently literally was all right, I need to do this if I'm going to be a solopreneur. And I just need to have that stability, because if I don't have a 9 to 5 that kind of puts structure in my life, I need to create that somehow. So now literally at 9 p.m. on my calendar, it's just scheduled every single day. So that's a daily habit.
There you go. Very cool. So I know that you kind of mentioned this a little bit, but what's the biggest change you've seen since you started doing this as regularly as you can?
Biggest change. Well, it's a short-term change, and I think that it'll continue and it'll keep up. But it's funny because as soon as I actually had my last day at Reliant and then I quit, I got kind of stressed and low energy and depressed. And I've come to terms that that's actually kind of a common thing. Like as soon as you quit your job, your unconscious is like, shit, there's uncertainty. What are we supposed to do? Everything is up in the air. I kind of want to curl up in a ball and sleep 12 hours kind of thing. And so as soon as I started doing that and like giving a name to those emotions and actually interacting with it and facing it, I haven't been depressed. And because I'm going to bed and I've scheduled it at 9 p.m. every day, which is relatively early, I can get up relatively early. So it kind of forces a sleep schedule, which if you like listen to Jordan Peterson or even Dr. Phil, or like there's so many, psychologists out there that'll tell you sleep schedule is huge. So it's kind of had like a dual effect of immediately just getting rid of that like depression and also helping me get up out of bed and be more proactive in my life.
That's fascinating. That's actually really cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess my last question is how do you keep that streak alive, like to continue doing it every day at the same time?
I learned about myself that if I schedule something in my calendar, I do it. So it is literally scheduled with reminders on my phone. It emails me an hour in advance, and then it like hits my phone 10 minutes in advance. So no matter what I'm doing, where I am, I know, okay, in an hour, in 10 minutes, right now, I'm going to do this.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I know that was pretty quick, but that's exactly the sort of thing that I was looking to hear about. That's really fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a sincere pleasure. And I hope that someone somewhere finds this idea to be useful. It's
I
been
know
very
I
useful.
have already, so should be good.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to keep tabs on you, see what you're up to, where can they find you?
NickRundlett.com, or you can shoot me an email, and my email is literally my name. So if you put an @ between my first and last name.com, nick@runlett.com, I'd be happy to get in touch.
Very clever. Well, thank you so much, Nick.
All right. Thank you, Ebony.